All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Family Forum. As everyone you'll see is starting to come back with their video. My name is Naseem Nozratash. I'm one of the assistant directors of New Student and Family Services, and we are very excited to be here with you, answer any questions that you have, and help you transition to UNC Charlotte as smooth as possible. But before we get started with any questions, we'll go ahead and jump around and do some intros. So to our OCs and to our FamTrins, if you can just go ahead and say your name, your major, your year, and what you're involved in.
I guess I'll go first. Yeah, so my name is Henry Okieri. I'm a fourth year computer science major with a business minor. I'm officially from Ghana, West Africa, but currently staying at Holly Springs, North Carolina. Nice to meet you all panelists.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go next. My name is John Savannah. I'm a third year English major from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm your OC number 9. I also, just to talk about what I'm involved in, I also work in the English department as well.
I'll go next. My name is Abby Warren. I'm a fourth year chemistry major with a biochemistry concentration. I'm originally from Kernersville, North Carolina, and some stuff that I'm involved in is I work in the chemistry department in the stock room, and I'm also in a Panhellenic sorority here on campus.
I can go next. Hi, my name is Dariel Sheehan. I'm a third year Earth and Environmental Science major from Raleigh, North Carolina with a concentration in hydraulic processes. And I'm OC number 27, and I am the secretary of the archery club here at UNC Charlotte.
Next. Hi, everyone. My name is Kailyn Griffin. I'm a second year psychology criminal justice major from Monroe, North Carolina. And I'm your OC number 24. As for what I'm involved in, I am a proud member of the Pride of Niner Nation Marching Band.
Good morning, everyone. I am Aubriana Dones. I am a second year public health major, and I also am minoring in Spanish, coming from Holly Springs, North Carolina. And as for what I'm involved in on campus, I'm a part of BSU.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna and I'm a second year student majoring in English with minors in secondary education and Spanish, and I'm one of the family program's interns.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Mahmood. I'm a third year psychology major, public health minor, and I'm also one of the family programs interns for the New Student and Family Services office.
All right. So as you can see, we have so many students here, our student leaders who are involved in multiple different areas, who hopefully will be able to answer your questions that you have. But I'll go ahead and get the ball rolling. So first question for all of our OCs, what's one piece of advice that you would give families when they first come to UNC Charlotte?
I can get this one started. I would definitely encourage family members to go to events, especially the ones geared towards family. Like my family always has a blast at family weekend. We've gone every year, but even just coming to like basketball games and stuff, because you really get to feel the energy that your student gets to experience here. And it's kind of fun to like get the whole family involved in that.
I think I'll go. First of all, I'm sorry for you not telling you all my OC number. My OC number is 28. But yeah, so my advice for freshman students is, most of the time I also use my experiences as an advice to incoming students. So what I'll tell them is, just be the real you. It's sometimes, easier to, try to fit in. But I feel like if you do that, being true to yourself. If you be the real you, that way you can, get a chance to learn from other people as well. And then again, just remember that procrastination is a thief of time too.
Some advice I would give to families. I know when I first came here as a freshman, I didn't really want to call my family. Like I wasn't really homesick yet, but the times that I do call my family is when like something bad would happen. Like I got a bad grade, I had a rough night, like that's when I would call. So families, like don't be alarmed every time you get a phone call that's something bad. Just know there are good things that are happening in our lives, but we just don't feel the need to share all of it with you yet. Just avoid the question, or like avoid the statement like I have a right to know, because, you know, this is our first time being independent, and we really want to experience that fully. So.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what Abby said, I think that was great because I was actually a little bit different. I really miss my family and I wanted to talk to them and I needed their support, just kind of knowing that they were there for me and would always be there for me and were supporting me in my journey, even though they weren't there with me, was also really helpful. So I think, you know, just showing your student that you have their back and you are willing to support them when they need it, but you're going to let them guide the way too.
And then to like jump off of both of them, basically when I first got to campus, I feel like my parents were slightly overbearing, and it was like we both came to a mutual agreement that like I needed my independence, but I also need you there for me. So it's like kind of establishing boundaries in a way as your student transitions into adulthood. This is their time to explore, and you know, I think it's definitely there. You should be there to hold their hand, but also let them soar and do what they have to do.
Awesome. Those were some great answers. Moving on to one of our commonly asked questions. What is your favorite campus tradition?
I'll go.
You know, I have a particular, oh, sorry, Caitlin.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead, John Savannah.
You know, Wear Green Wednesday is actually pretty widespread throughout the campus. It's fun to go into work and to see my bosses and some of my coworkers also showing their school pride, because I think it like really makes us look like a cohesive unit and like each student and faculty member is working together. So I enjoy Wear Green Wednesdays.
For me, I love Wear Green Wednesdays too. But I would have to say my favorite tradition, and I didn't even realize it was a tradition until I went, was the midnight breakfast. That's something that they have every semester, at the end of every semester, right before exams. So it's kind of a way just to like relax and unwind. And there's great food. I went at Sobe, and there was a literal mountain of ice cream that you could get from. And that was just something that made my night so much better, and just kind of, as I was so stressed out, but it just helped me relax a little bit. So that's something that I enjoy doing and will continue to do.
I have to agree with Caitlin. That one's definitely my favorite. And it's great to see, like, because you know, like everybody else has been like cramming and studying too, and you all just get like this feeling of relief and get to like sit and have a good meal. So that's definitely one I would tell your student not to miss.
My favorite definitely has to be Put a Penny in Norm's Pan. I just think it's so cute. Like every time you just need some good luck on a test, just throw a penny in there. More than likely you'll get a B. That's happened to me a lot. I don't really believe in like, you know, conspiracies and like legends and stuff, but I think it's just a fun thing to do just for some good luck really quick.
What's Norm's Pan?
Norm's Pan?
Yeah, what is it? Because our families don't know.
Oh, I'll let someone else answer.
Anyway, it's a statue of Norm, which is our mascot, and it's in this plaza, right kind of across the Union towards the Student Activity Center, and it has water that goes into a pan, and that's what it is. Just
I guess mine is gonna be family weekend. Cause you know you coming to university for the first time, and it's like you making new friends. It's always nice to have your family around, so you can introduce them to the friends that you made out there, the connections that you made out there, so they can also get to know your family and stuff. So yeah, it always feels good to like have that family weekend.
Awesome. And moving on, this is one of my favorite questions. If you reflect back on your freshman year, what is one thing you would do differently?
Oh, sorry. Do you want to go? Okay, so for my freshman year, since I'm only a second year student, I kind of wish my first semester I put myself out there a little more. Like I tried, but oh sorry, but I tried, but given the circumstances emotionally, it was a lot for me to transition. So I ended up like isolating myself. So I kind of wish that I would have kind of pushed through that and utilized the resources on campus, such as y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I can't think. But I definitely would have utilized my resources on campus and gone from there and just put myself out there a little more, and that should have catered to like my mental health in a sense, other than ignoring it. So yeah.
Yeah, Aubrey, I definitely agree with you. I have the same experience. I really wish that during my first year experience, I did hang out a lot in my room alone, and I really wish that I had joined some more organizations. I did some intramural sports, which really helped me get out of the house, and like we actually went on like some trips too for a tournament and stuff, so that was really cool. But I do wish I had joined, like, there's some pretty prestigious campus organizations, like maybe being a Niner guide or a housing ambassador. Those are some awesome jobs that help you like get to know the campus and see new people coming in. So I wish I had joined something like that, but I do think it's important to remember that it's not too late. I'm planning on like, pursuing some of those organizations this year as well. So
I remember during my first year, something that I didn't do was I didn't talk to like any of the students in my classes, besides like when I took my chemistry labs or my bio labs. Like my lab partner, obviously we had to interact with each other, but actually in these big lecture halls, talk to the person next to you. Like it's really not that hard to just be like, oh, did you get this answer, or blah blah blah. But like I do it now, and honestly it's the best decision I've made, because now that I'm further into my major, I'm like great friends with all the other chemistry majors on this campus. So I think that's really beneficial to do.
I also wanted to touch on what John Savannah said. You can make sure your students go to Niner Engage, which is basically all of our clubs and organizations. They can search their like interests, and there's probably an organization that will suit that. So definitely encourage them to use Niner Engage if they don't know where to go or how to be involved on campus.
Absolutely. And speaking on involvement and those types of things, can any of you touch on what involvement might look like this year and how students can get involved amidst social distancing and things of that nature?
actually, I did receive an email with a rundown of how one specific club was going to be doing things. So I thought it was really cool. There was an in-person option. And then for people who, didn't feel safe, going in person, there was also an online option. So that's kind of like a hybrid experience. And then there were also like really clear laid out guidelines for like, if you're not feeling well, don't come in. If you're waiting to get tested for COVID, don't come in, some things like that. So I feel like a lot of the organizations have taken those extra steps to make sure each of their students are going to be safe and comfortable in their environment. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And going off what John Savannah said, like we're running a sports club and we have to give a proposal by Monday, and we have to lay out all the precautions for COVID and everything, and it has to get approved by like everybody, so like they know that we're being safe. And just like John Savannah said, like there is an option, like always, like you can be involved without physically being there, but they're really taking it seriously and making sure that we all stay safe while still be able to get those experiences in there.
Speaking from someone in Greek life, we have also taken a lot of precautions as well. Our entire recruitment is fully virtual now due to phase 2 being extended. And from there, we'll decide what kind of in-person stuff we can have and what needs to remain virtual. But just know that we are still excited to be recruiting all these women that are coming in this year. So.
And also to just add a little bit, if you download the Niner Destination app, there is a virtual like resource kind of fair almost on it of organizations to see, and then they hopefully will have more information on it. But definitely involvement is something that we are continuing to do throughout the semester, and editing as needed how to do it, but it is happening in different ways, but each student really wants to still get involved. So one of the best ways to look at is the Niner Destination app and see all those organizations that are on there. And we have like information like year one launch, Gold Rush is still happening, which is our welcome week of events, about 12 days actually, so it's a little more than a week. So there's information out there right now, and we actually are putting on a program, currently year one launch, to help students acclimate into their first year, which Niner Destination has all that information.
Absolutely. Niner Destination app. I know my first year was super helpful, and I think especially this year with so many changes and things not being so traditional for how things are going to run, it's very useful to have that and just see what's going on and see how you can get involved. Can anyone, probably Nasim, touch on how families can be involved on campus this year, or if they will be allowed to be involved on campus?
What a great question. That is literally my job. So with families, we are working on seeing what works. We are trying to maintain the integrity of our events. So we have 3 main events that we do. We have New Family Reception, Family Weekend, and then Spring Family Reunion, which happens in the spring. So we'll wait on that because that's a little bit later. But New Family Reception is one way for families to get involved. It's not happening in person, but it is happening virtually. And there was an email sent about that yesterday. But if not, if you go on our website, nsfs.uncc.edu, you can find that information under the Family Programs tab and register for that event. Another way to also get involved is joining our different organizations that we have for families. We have 2 main ones. We have NNFA, Niner Nation Family Association, and that has a small fee of $49 for 1 year and $149 for 4 years that you can get involved in. And our fam turns, Daniel and Anna, who are here. And we also have Bethany, who is our graduate assistant, working on newsletters, videos, social media initiatives. So they are constantly giving different ways for families to be involved, and also explain some involvement opportunities throughout the year through there. And then also with Family Council, that's a little bit more if you're able to give a donation. You could potentially be a part of Family Council as well, which works with our university leadership to give the family experience feedback. So there are different ways, but if you go to the family resources presentation, we go very specific into that. But I highly recommend everyone come to New Family Reception. We're very excited about that. And Family Weekends TBD. There's we have a date. It's October 16th through the 18th, but we're figuring out what that looks like.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Nasim. Moving on to another commonly asked question. If my student wants to work on campus, how can they get a job? And how do you balance work life with school life?
Oh, I'd love to answer that question. We have a, it's a website that's called Hire a Niner that all UNC Charlotte students need to go through if they want to get an on-campus job, and it has all the listings of the jobs that we have on campus here. So, and it also has a resume aspect. You first have to get your resume approved. So it's really good for just beginning your career options, because it lets you have open feedback, so you can have the best resume that you could possibly have, and then you can use that in the future as well. But so all the jobs that we have are listed through Hire a Niner. You can find that in your NinerNet portal for those students. And I'll let someone else answer a question about balancing work life and school life.
I just wanted to touch on the little section. I'll let Daryl answer that last question, but I just wanted to touch on the resume aspect and cover letter aspect. We have a career center, and I recommend it's just they help me with my resume, and I had a little I guess the resumes that were all already used on Google Docs, and so it just made me just feel a lot more professional in a sense. I still definitely have a lot of more experience to add to it over the next few years, but definitely utilizing the Career Center is essential when you are utilizing the Higher Than Niner website.
Yeah, that's great. So glad you brought it up. And I was just saying, Hire Niner, it has on-campus jobs and off-campus jobs. But the great thing about having the on-campus jobs in terms of balancing is they are a lot more willing to kind of work with you because they know what all the students are doing. So say like you have a really big test coming up, you're like, hey, can I switch this shift or whatever? They're like much more accommodating because they know like what we're going through. And also like just in terms of balancing, like looking at all your options, because you could be like a TA, which is like, 7 to 10 hours a week or certain ones, or you could be like, working in UREC like 20 hours a week, like do what works for you, and definitely like don't overload yourself in the beginning, and like maybe something where you can build. But it is definitely doable, and it's a great way to like get involved while getting paid for it if you're trying to get involved but also like need that income. But yeah, just looking through all your options first before you make your decision is the best way to do that, and to make sure you're not overloading yourself that first semester.
And something that I would also like to mention, just because it's pretty close to my heart, I am a work study student, and I know that it's kind of difficult sometimes to qualify for work study and whatnot, but I do want to say that even if your student doesn't get it in the first place, you can call the Office of Financial Aid and apply to join the work study waitlist. And something that's really cool about our work study jobs on campus is that they absolutely have to work with the student in their schedule. If they have like classes, they will never be able to schedule a student to work during that time. And they're really good with like I said, working with schedules and whatnot. So I would recommend the work study avenue as well.
Awesome. These are some great answers. Moving on, a family member has asked, what if my student gets quarantined? Where will they be? And can I, as a family member, come get them? Nassim, you might be able to answer this.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best place to find any COVID-related questions or answers is through ninernationcares.uncc.edu. That is where we get our information as well regarding COVID, regarding any of the procedures, because we are not the ones who come up with them. We just follow guidelines and we're continuously given them. But Niner Nation Cares is the best website to give. Anna just put it in the chat for y'all. That is where they update the information. So it's not just information they put out once, they continuously update it as they come up with new updates or any information that is new. Also at the bottom of the page, there's a form link that you can click. And if none of your questions are answered, you fill out that form and they will answer the question through there, because they also want to know what they're missing. Also another website, let me just find it real quickly, is the emergency management website, and I'll put that in the chat as well. The emergency management website has some information as well regarding COVID, and I just put it in the chat. So that has some information on it regarding COVID updates, but Niner Nation Cares is the best one. And it's also interactive in the sense if you can't find your question, you can put in that information into the form for them to fill out, and it goes to the appropriate people, because our thing is we do not want to give you the wrong information. We want to direct you to the right resource. So ninernationcares.uncc.edu is your best source.
Awesome. Thank you, Nassim. And kind of going off of that, another question that we have received is what's going to be going on with sports? We've seen a lot of things on social media of sports teams practicing. What does that mean for the upcoming season? And can we share any information about that right now?
I just wanted to point out that following the social media is a really good way, because I know a lot of us are like, can we do football, because that's a big thing for our school, like we get to play a lot of great teams this year, and so I was kind of asking about it, and I know on one of the posts I just put there, like, well, they're not making decisions till we go to phase 3, which would be September 11th, so for all the at least football games, because I get that asked that a lot. they're not making those decisions yet. But in terms of like club and intramural sports, I think they're trying to figure those out right now in terms of just the people playing. Obviously, like I don't know how they're going to do attendees, but for some things they're just going to have to wait till phase 3. So just keeping an eye on that is like the most important thing, is if that's.
Yes, and also on the Niner Nation Cares website that I did put in the chat for you, they do have a section about intramural sports, and they're still updating that, and as they get more answers, they will continue to update that. But definitely stay updated on the Niner Nation Cares.uncc.edu website. It is very useful. And as Naseem said, if a question that you have is not answered, you can actually fill out the form at the bottom and they will try their best to answer it. And then on to our next question. Can any of you speak about your experience with the shuttle service and parking passes, and where can we find information on these services?
Okay, so my experience in regards to parking, my first semester initially I wasn't going to bring my car at all, but given certain circumstances, my second semester I decided to get a parking pass, and it was fairly easy. I just went to hats.uncc.edu, which is parking and transportation services, and they have a list of the parking permits, the basically the rules and guidelines in regards to the permit. The rules and guidelines in regards to the permit. And then outside of each of our parking decks and lots, there is the symbols for the permit. And some people tend to ignore those, but it's basically telling you if you're eligible to park in that specific parking lot or deck. And then if anybody wants to touch on the shuttles.
So I know I use the shuttles a lot, especially when I lived on campus my first year. It's amazing just to just to jump on it from the Union and then go back to South Village, which is where I lived. I lived in Holzhauser. The shuttles are just very easy. And again, you use like the Niner Destination app to like see the bus routes and everything like that. Or I think it's Niner Transit, never mind, it's Niner Transit app. To like, you can see all the bus routes and where each of them go and how long it's gonna be until they get to the bus stop. It's very easy to figure out. And I utilized it a lot. And I also used it to go to engineering side of campus because that is a long walk and I like to ride the bus because it's a little bit cooler during the summertime. So yeah.
And to piggyback off of Abby, that Niner Transit app, I use that constantly. That is your best friend on what it'll tell you when where the buses are, especially whether or not they've stopped, where they're stopped, and what their next arrival will be, as well as when the next bus after that will be. So it gives you so much information, and you can very much time when you get to class and when the next bus or whatever is going to come through that app. So I would 100% download that app when you get on campus or right now if you want to. But yeah, that's going to be your best friend for the shuttle buses.
So we just received a question from a family member regarding parking. Will they receive an actual paper pass, or how does that work?
I can take this one. You don't receive a physical pass. They actually do it based off your license plate. So the way that works is you drive in, you wait like 3 seconds and you wait for it to scan and it'll say like, have a good day or welcome, and it lets you in. But if there was ever any problem with that, which doesn't usually happen, but technology, it can happen. You actually use your 49er ID card and you just tap it on there and it lets you in the same way. So I've never known anybody to have issues with it because you can just do that card, which is a nice feature, but it's not a physical pass that you need. It is just based off your license plate. That's why everybody has to park like right way, and like you can't back in or else they can't see that license plate. But yeah, and then they just scan it the same when you go out so they can keep track of who's in and who's out.
I also highly recommend regarding parking passes because they've been sending out some light information about it. They have some different passes this year regarding like some people have hybrid classes, so if they know they're not coming every day. So I know it's a little different. So like they said, look at the PATS website. They have all that information on there, but they do have different information. Like different passes than we are used to, the traditional ones. And I think it's good because it saves you money.
Great. And how does my student go about using the light rail? A family member just asked.
So in order to use the light rail, it's actually included in your tuition. UNC Charlotte students can use it for free, but it is included in your tuition. So you just show that your 49er ID and you're good to go on it. The best way to like find the routes and everything is to actually go to the light rail website. And the station is up in North Village, so it's really easy to get there. And there's a parking deck right next to it as well.
I also wanted to add, midway through the year, I figured out that you can use your, what is it called? Your Apple Maps, and you can search the location you're trying to go to. And then on the bottom, it's like the car, walk, and then like public transportation symbol. And the light rail is on there. So if like your student has any trouble navigating by just looking at the map on the train, which sometimes can be a little overwhelming since you don't know Charlotte, I definitely suggest utilizing their phone and utilizing like Apple Maps. I don't know if that works for Androids, but I know it does work for Apple.
It does on Google Maps, so everyone should have access, both iPhones and Androids. I know because I looked it up yesterday. So.
And then again, too, like, it tells you the various stops that, the train or the light rail catches. So, like, if you get there and then that is your stop, you can go out.
Awesome. And on to the next question. Can any of you talk about your experience with verifying credits for college courses that you took prior to coming to UNC Charlotte, whether that was in high school or at a community college or from another college? How does that process work?
I had attended an early college, so I had several credits that transferred over from my school. And basically, once I submitted my transcript, or once I, for high school, I also once I finished that last semester for my college courses, I submitted my transcript. And then my advisor handled that, but I remember there being a website that they use. So I kind of just really utilized my advisor and just asked, or the advising center, and they kind of clarified if the course would fulfill certain requirements. And then also you can check DegreeWorks if you have also already submitted your transcripts and everything. If you want your student to check their DegreeWorks, it's on my.uncc.edu, and basically it will say the courses, everything listed, and then it'll be like satisfied by blank at blank, I believe.
Awesome. And then kind of on a similar range of questions, when are students going to know the books and supplies that they need for their classes? How do they find that information? And where's the best place to get those supplies?
Actually, in Banner Self-Service, after you've signed up for your classes, you can see required text under like your course list, which I think is really useful. But I would recommend, for me personally, I find that going to that first day of class, getting in there, because anything can change between when you sign up for that class and when that class begins. So I find that going to that first day of class and hearing what the teacher has to say, they always go over the syllabus at syllabus day. So they make it clear what is absolutely necessary and what isn't. And that can help you avoid buying unnecessary text, or because sometimes they might have an online version available to students, so you don't have to spend that money. And of course, as always, the UNC Charlotte bookstore is a great place to get your texts that you might need, and they also price match, which is really cool. So if you find something on Amazon and you're like, hey, this is a bit lower, you can still get it from UNC Charlotte as well.
John Savannah mentioned some really great points, and also I just wanted to add that when I was coming both years, I kept getting emails from Barnes & Noble that was like, we have your recommended course list. So once you've done that first week and you're looking and you're like, oh, I don't know where to find this book, you can just go on there and you can actually order it on there and they'll have it waiting for you, or you can just go in and show them that name. That's nice to have them all in the same place. You just put your classes in your section and it has them all right there.
A book or find what you're looking for, you can always give them that list and they can go and find it for you. So that helps.
The bookstore is also a really great place to find Niner gear. Just to throw that in there, the top level of the bookstore is full to the brim of UNC Charlotte sweatshirts, t-shirts, sweatpants, anything that you can think of. And then downstairs, they actually do also have electronics, like if you need a calculator for a certain class, they do have that down there, and they have Niner themed notebooks, binders. Yeah, we are a school spirit kind of place.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know they recently renovated it, I think, last summer. So I love just going in there just to look around and see all the stuff I can't afford, but we won't talk about that. Moving on to our next question. Do you feel safe at UNC Charlotte, and does campus have a curfew?
You know what? You go ahead and then I'll mention.
Okay. I know for me personally, I genuinely feel so safe walking around on campus. I remember my first year, I would have a lot of late nights in the library studying for chemistry because chemistry is hard. And my dorm it's actually pretty close to the library. I think it's probably like a 5-minute walk. But I felt very safe walking back to my dorm by myself. And if you happen to not feel safe, we do have these things called blue lights, and they're all over campus, like on all the sidewalks that you would be able to use. So if you don't feel safe, you can press the button on the blue light and a campus police will show up, and they actually give rides back to dorms if you genuinely do feel unsafe. I remember I did that once, and I honestly, it's very nice just to have that right there. So definitely utilize that as well. But otherwise, yeah, I feel very safe on this campus, and campus does not have a curfew.
Yeah, I was absolutely going to mention those blue lights. I think they're really important. They're everywhere. Like every time you turn around, there's one within reach, which I think is really good and smart. And to touch on, since you really covered the safety part, to touch on the curfew question, no, the campus does not have curfew, but our dorms do have set quiet hours, which is really cool because maybe you need to study late at night or have to be up in the morning. Either way, it's just like a set time frame where you shouldn't be like doing anything really loud or rambunctious, so that everyone can find their peace in their home too. So I think that's really good.
Also wanted to add that we have an app. It's called the Livesafe app, and basically on that app, I have utilized it myself. I feel very safe on campus actually, and I think if it wasn't for the app, I don't know, it's just I feel as if my needs or any problems I may have faced were immediately addressed. I remember being in a situation and needing to do an anonymous tip, and like immediately the police came, so that was really nice. And then also we have a portion on the app that says like walk with a friend or something like that, walk with me or something, and you can honestly turn it on, share your location with someone. It has like all the buildings, like legitimate, like microscopic in a sense, and you can just basically watch your friend walk on campus, make sure they get to their destination, or they can watch you walk on campus, make sure you get to your destination. So it's definitely useful.
Awesome, thank you for those answers. For our next question, I know as we get closer to the start of classes on September 7th, a lot of classes do tend to fill up. So can one of y'all speak on waitlisted classes and how often they open up?
I can start this one. As for waitlisted classes, I personally was on a waitlist once, and it took till like almost the end of the ad drop period I got put on it. And so that first week of class is where a lot of like the switching is going to happen, because it's basically a chance for everybody to like feel out their classes. Am I taking too much? Am I taking too little? Is this the right section for me? So definitely that is going to be the week that you will definitely see the most change in that. As for specific classes, obviously, like I haven't had specific experience with that. But getting on that wait list, just that's the best you can do for right now and wait. It does get frustrating this late, kind of hoping to get your classes, but I would say don't give up hope. That 1 week ad drop ends September 14th, so make sure to do it before then. But that is definitely the week that everything's going to be switching around a bit. So definitely just keep an eye. And if you're on the wait list for one section, keep going back and looking, like make sure the other sections don't have it or whatever you're looking for. But definitely keep looking at that banner self-service for that.
And kind of going off the same thing, for those classes that are listed as online only, will there be some sort of in-person portion, possibly? I could answer. That's kind of up to the professor's discretion, I believe. But yeah, they will make that information known like early on, so you will know whether a class is totally online or either hybrid. So you will meet online in one part of the week and then in person in another part of the week. So that the professor should make that information known to you by the time classes start. So definitely check your emails, check any Canvas announcements. That's the best way for you to find out that information.
I also think if you go to my.uncc.edu and look at my schedule, you can look and see your courses without like an assigned time. And then you can also see the courses that might say like none internet that are like a hybrid course or something along those lines. So definitely check out your schedule and see which ones that you can kind of do at your own leisure and at your own time.
And I do know each department has a specific day that they are finalizing the class schedules. So on the day that the schedules are finalized, it won't really be changed much anymore for the semester. So I know as of right now, I have one particular class that is currently one way, but the professor has already reached out to us and is working on changing it to allow for a hybrid opportunity for us to take. So whenever the department sets the finalized date, they will have to have that entered in, and that's when you'll know exactly like, okay, this class is going to be completely online for this semester, this class will be hybrid, and things of that nature. And then on to a very commonly asked question is, do family members have access to their students' grades, and how can they get access to that?
Start this one. So to start out, there's something called Ferpa, which we highlight a lot, especially if your students went to small group. And that is basically that they are an adult now. They are in control of their grades, their medical records, all that good stuff. And so when they start out, they are the sole person who can see all those things. And if the student chooses to, they can actually add people on to be able to see those things. We can go over more of the process if they haven't already told you about that. But unless they add you on to, I can't remember what it's called, but they add you on there, that you will not be able to see their grades, and that kind of re-ups every year. So say like they're a freshman, they're like, hey, I want you all to be able to see my grades, make sure I'm not slipping up, make sure I'm doing what I need to do, the guest portal access, yes, to be able to go in as a guest and see all that. And Niner Central can give you more information on that. But that's what I did with my guardians. I was like, hey, I want you to be able to see my grades and my medical stuff my first year there, make sure I'm doing all right. And I haven't done since then, and they never really needed to utilize that, but it is up to the student. But yeah.
Just a little add on to that real quickly. when your student, if they have not gone through SOAR Live, there's a Niner Central presentation, and I kind of go very step by step into that, but that's one way to figure out exactly how to do it. It is, it needs to be renewed every year as well, but Niner Central is the office to talk to about that. They're the ones who handle the guest portal, but because of FERPA, it is up to the discretion of the student, but the student can it's easy to do. They just need to log in and do it. That's a good conversation to have with your student. All right, I think we have time for potentially one more question, and I will end it. So what has been your favorite memory from the past, whether you've been here for a year or 2 to 3 years? Let's end it on a happy note.
I'll go first. Whether this was a good idea or not, when me and my roommates first moved in and we were first year students, we went around and we like knocked on all the doors of people around us. Because we were like, we don't know anybody here. Like, we're trying to go to this event, and we knocked on these people's doors down the hall, and they were like, they had Cards Against Humanity and they were playing, and we were ordering a pizza. And we were like, oh my gosh, we don't have any plates. So we went down, we knocked back. We were like, hey, we noticed you guys have plates, and can we play games with you, and we'll like share our pizza. And now I'm moving into an apartment, and they're living above us still, so like we still know them, and like that was just really fun. And like we were like, oh my gosh, we're just gonna do it. So like doing like funny little things like that and just like little moments like really makes it all like you think about it a lot later.
I know for me personally, I'm a big like cold weather person. I love the snow. I love anything below 30 degrees. So anytime it snows here in Charlotte, number one, it's amazing if it ever snows in Charlotte. The whole campus goes crazy. But I know for me personally, especially when I was a first year student, me and my friends, we went crazy. We went sledding down the hill in front of the ROTC building. We had a big snowball fight in front of Sovi. It's just like stuff like that. The most fun days that you have with people that you meet here on campus, that is the stuff that's going to last with you forever. So definitely make those connections with people in your dorm or your residence hall, and with other people in your classes as well, so you can create those memories as well.
You know, Campus Activities Board, hosts a lot of really cool events. So I would say that my favorite memory would be the night that they set up a roller rink in in the gym. So it was really cool. Like they had lights and milkshakes, which was the theme, but it was like really fun because I went with my friends and we got to skate and everything, and it was really cool. So that would probably be my favorite experience.
I think my favorite experience, John Savannah reminded me of this because it's been such a long time. It is still one of my favorites. Is when CAB turned the student union into the haunted student union. And there were so many games, so many prizes. I got a lot of candy, and we did the haunted house or the haunted hallway. And it was just so much fun to just hang with friends and have little jump scares here and there. And just making a lot of memories with that one.
I believe my best experience or like most memorable experience was probably during Gold Rush when Ari Lennox came. I was fangirling so hard. I was so happy that the school brought her. Like I was about to pass out. So definitely Ari Lennox coming during Gold Rush was the way to start my year.
Was that everyone? Okay, so as you can see, Henry, did you go?
Nah, I was about to go.
Oh.
But yeah, I think my favorite event was when Ariana came there, like, cause that was the first time of me hearing about her, and then I was like, oh, okay. So I think as soon as she came and then we went, like, I really enjoyed that, program. Like, and then again too, I met most of my friends over there, like, so.
All right. So as you can see, there are different memories and opportunities for your students and yourself as family members to get involved here at UNC Charlotte. And yes, we understand current circumstances, but we are working on ways to maintaining that tradition and maintaining the integrity of those events while being safe, because being safe is our #1 priority and always will be. So just be up to date on the information, whether that is through Niner Nation Cares. Looking at social media is a big thing we've been doing. We've been updating a lot through our Facebook and our Instagram. So please feel free to look at those. We post really good content on that. And we keep everyone up to date. For New Student and Family Services, we are that transition office that really helps students and families find their place. And if there's a question that you have and you don't know who to contact, please contact us. The best website to go to is nsfs.uncc.edu, and you can find all the information for contacts there, whether it's through phone number, or for families, there's the parents at uncc.edu email. So those are just different ways to contact us. But these students have been working really hard to create an opportunity for your students coming through SOAR Live to make sure that they are transitioning well. And if they've gone through orientation, this could have potentially been one of their OCs, or if they haven't yet, this could potentially also be one of their OCs. If you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and email us at parents@uncc.edu, or check out our social media because potentially we've answered it there. Or if you want to attend the family resources presentation that is happening later, Daniel, Anna, and I will be presenting on specific resources open to families. Oh, perfect. Anna went ahead and put that in the chat, so just go ahead and copy and paste all that information. But we are always here for you to help. Daniel, I feel like you have something to say.
Yep.
Jumping in, I'm like, okay, go.
I was like, when should I do that? We actually got a question about move-in guidance. I'm putting a link in the chat for the fall move-in guide. This is a great resource for move-in this semester. Also, be sure that your student is checking their UNC Charlotte emails, because housing has been sending very important emails almost every like 2 weeks or so. So definitely check your email, and definitely check out that link I just put in the chat. But yeah.
Yeah, a great resource is their email. Make sure their students have that email set up. It's really important. It's their Ninernet ID and password. Just make sure that that is the main form of communication. When I went to college, like, emailing came straight back. So that is the biggest form of communication that we have. And make sure they check their spam as well, because sometimes it goes there too, before asking some questions. But yes, their email is the best. But if you have any questions, email us, contact us. We are here for you, always will be, to help transition you and your students into UNC Charlotte. So thank you so much for coming. We are excited for y'all to join Niner Nation. Bye, everyone.